I did not want to be married. Well, actually, that's not true. I wanted to be married, but not to the person I was married to. I had gotten involved with another person, had developed a very strong relationship with her, and was now feeling madly in love with her to the point where I was willing to sacrifice everything in my life to be with her. My career, my marriage. I even convinced myself that I could be a good dad seeing my children every other weekend because as long as I was with her, life would be wonderful. Nobody had ever understood me like she did. I'd never been so open and transparent with anybody as I'd been with her, and she was being just as open and transparent with me. And so I knew about her fears, her strengths, her weaknesses, her idiosyncrasies, and she knew the same about me. And yet, she accepted me fully anyway, although she knew I wasn't perfect. And I accepted her, even though I knew she wasn't perfect. But that acknowledging that the other person was not perfect was intellectual. It wasn't emotional. Because in my mind, even though I knew she wasn't perfect, I felt she was. And she felt the same way about me. And because that was so strong, I was willing to sacrifice anything to be with her. And so my wife, Alice, when she discovered I was having the affair, did the kinds of things that people do. She did what almost everybody does. And there was nobody really to help her back in those days. And so she whined, she pled, she begged. She tried to manipulate me. She threatened me. She tried to use guilt. Not threaten me physically, but threaten me in terms of what she could do to my reputation, etc. And all those things, rather than making me come to the realization that what I was doing was wrong and damaging and hurtful, just pushed me more toward the other woman because they were evoking negative emotions in me that I didn't want to feel. Oh, it's not that Alice was wrong. I just didn't want to admit those things about myself. I wanted to believe that I was in the right and I deserved to be happy, and I'd been living my life for everybody else but me until now. And I'm not going to be that guy anymore, just living for him, her, them, doing everything everybody wants me to be. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to be happy, and so is my love. And so I divorced Alice. You say, well, did her turn out to be happy ever after? Only in fairy tales. You see, we now deal with people in those situations every day. I was gone for 3 years. I thought that I would marry the other woman after the divorce. We would be happy ever after, all those kinds of things, like everybody thinks. But that kind of intense emotion we were feeling, I didn't know anything about it then, but I've studied quite a bit about it and really understand it very deeply now. It's something that is built by nature to be short-lived. It just doesn't last very long because it's so extremely intense. It stops productivity. It stops rational thinking. It's almost like an addiction in the sense that you feel you just can't stop. And it feels so good when you're doing it, not just physically, but emotionally. Like nobody's ever felt this way before. I can't even describe it to anybody. But as we know now, and I learned back then from experience, as have thousands and thousands and thousands of other people, that intense love fades. It eventually goes away. By nature, it has to. You couldn't continue to exist if you were on that level of ecstasy all the time. It has to go away. And if it's not replaced by something that's deeper, stronger, more fulfilling, then that relationship actually winds up ending, and the person that you were so madly in love with can wind up being your enemy. Or at least they might wind up seeing you as an enemy. You don't think I'm right? Look around. See how many people have gone through this and never wound up marrying the person they were leaving their spouse for. And those few that did, look how many of them wound up divorced from that person. Can it ever work? Anything's possible. And yes, I know a couple of times of people where it has worked, but that's not the norm. Now you might be thinking, so why are you telling me this? I don't want you to go where I've been. The pain. Oh yeah, the love, the emotions were so intense, so powerful that I thought nothing would ever match them. But if you look at it in just the opposite way, they were more than matched by the pain. Not only for my wife and my children, but for her. Well, she was single, so at least she didn't have a husband or kids, but for her parents, for her friends, and for my friends, and for the people that cared about us. I mean, so many people. And after a while, when I began to realize it's not all about me. Oh, I want to be happy. There's no doubt about it. But at the cost of hurting other people, people that I genuinely care about, people that I actually have responsibilities to. Shouldn't that have some place? And so the pain I felt, the degradation I went through, the valley in which I lived, and it was a bad one for a while, for about 3 years after the other woman finally left me, because she said, "You're not the person I fell in love with." I thought she was lying, but I was not the person she'd fallen in love with. I truly had gone from being the person who cared about other people to the person who cared only about himself and my lover, but nobody else. The new me, the one that this is the real me, was somebody she didn't love at all. And so after she left me, I did not immediately go back to my family. I lived for a while in a very bad lifestyle, going places I never thought I'd go, doing things I never thought I'd do, saying things I never thought I'd say, hurting a whole lot of people. Chief among those hurt was me. Until finally, I began to realize that Alice had changed significantly. Oh, it wasn't her job to have to change to save me, but she had changed because she was the only person she could control. She'd become stronger. She'd become even more beautiful in my eyes, inwardly and outwardly. She had done all kinds of things to improve herself and to go on with life without me. Now, it wasn't the fact that I now wanted her because I didn't have her. It was the fact that I now wanted her because I saw who she really was, that I wasn't seeing when I was involved in the affair. And from her strength, I was drawn back and finally realized the error of my ways. And finally, after 3 years of divorce, asking, "Will you take me back?" She was already dating somebody else. She had to think about it, and she asked a lot of her friends, and they all said no, but she did. By the way, at the time of this recording, that was 37 years ago when she remarried me. And now we spend our lives deeply in love with each other, very much in love with each other. We pray together every night, for example. And we spend our lives trying to help other people not go where Joe went, where I went, and other people to learn how to be as strong as Alice was. Now, if what we did for people was only based on our story, it'd be very limited in value. But over the years, as a matter of fact, the last 3 decades, we have learned more and more through education and experience and working with thousands and thousands of couples, earning a PhD, a doctorate degree, all those kinds of things. We have learned how to help people in all kinds of marriage situations. So if you think, "Wow, I don't believe you, Dr. Beam. I think I'm going to be happy ever after," my response is, when that falls apart, will you call us and let us help you then? And if you have a spouse who is saying, if your spouse is the one that's in love with somebody else and you're saying he or she is so madly in love with another person, there is no hope. Alice thought the same thing, but she learned that there are things that she could do, not to change me, but to change her, and that would have a powerful effect over time. We can teach you how to do that. Or if you're the third part here, the person who is involved with somebody who's married, and you felt some degree of pain and within yourself thinking, "I love him, I love her, I want to be with him, I want to be with her, but there's a part of me that knows that I'm tearing up a family," then would you have the strength to tell the person that you're in love with, "I want to do what's right. I have to stop contact with you"? And maybe, just maybe, you might want to talk with one of our coaches who can help you do that. Or one other. You might be the person that, as I was describing all these things, found yourself thinking, yes, I am that person, but I'm already to the point where my guilt or where the relationship I have with this other person is beginning to fail. It has some pain points in it that weren't there before. I'm beginning to discover he or she is not as perfect as I thought. Call us. You see, if you contact us by clicking on this link. You can talk to one of our intake specialists. Now, he or she is not a counselor. They're not a therapist. These are people who will listen to your story, understand your situation, and if we have a service that can help you or your marriage, or help you extricate yourself from a relationship that you really know you need to get out of, we'll help you with that as well. And if we don't have a service to help you, we'll be honest. We'll tell you. You see, we exist because we understand this. We've been there, not just me, but nearly everybody who works at this organization has been through something similar. Almost every person we have on our team has been through some kind of major marriage crisis. We care. We want to help. Please let us.